शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपारकरुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम् वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्तप्रतिपत्तये जगतपितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ. Hello everyone, let's review Shloka 3 in Soundarya Lahari. Avidyānām antastimira-mihira-dvīpanagarī jaḍānāṃ chaitanya-stabaka-makaranda-srutijharī daridrāṇāṃ chintāmaṇiguṇanikā janmajaladhau nimagnānāṃ daṃṣṭrā muraripu-varāhasya bhavati. The third verse in Soundarya Lahari also talks about the greatness of the dust from Devi's feet. In the second verse, we saw how important the dust from Devi's feet was for Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, and how it helps them excel in their jobs. This is a continuation of that. So let's take a look at the first line here. Avidyānām antastimira-mihira-dvīpanagarī. Avidya means incorrect knowledge. Vidya means knowledge. Avidya means incorrect knowledge. That means misunderstanding or misconception. So avidyānām means for those who are spiritually deluded. Antaha means inner. Timira means darkness. Mihira means sun. Dvipa means island. And Nagari means city. So, avidyānām antastimira-mihira-dvīpanagarī means for the spiritually deluded, dust from Devi's feet is the sun shining in the island city of inner darkness. So, let's unpack this a little bit. Let's understand what avidya means. What is that misunderstanding? Let's say you went on a camping trip. You pitched your tent, had a meal, and then decided to go on a hike. And you had amazing views there, peaceful woods. You saw the birds, some wildlife, everything that nature has to offer. It was a great hike. And then the sun sets and you decide to come back to your tent. As soon as you enter your tent, you see a snake on the floor. So what will happen? Immediately there is the shock of seeing a snake, the fear of seeing a snake, and then quickly we retreat back. Obviously, can't stay outside forever, so you have to go inside. So maybe armed with a flashlight, go inside and then shine the light, and then you see that it was actually the belt that you dropped on the floor in the morning, and it was not really a snake. So here we misunderstood the belt to be a snake. Why did that happen? Because there was not enough light. The sun was setting, we couldn't see very clearly, and therefore we thought the belt was a snake. So what did that light do? The light actually showed us what really is. And the light removed the snake that was never there to begin with. So this is what is called as avidya. There is an error in perception because of absence of light. So error in perception because of absence of knowledge. Light actually represents knowledge. So the absence of light caused an error in perception. So how this is related to us? You must have all heard Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, right? So if you look at the entire universe, the fundamental truth is that there is only one absolute reality. Everything that we see in this universe, it could be other objects, other people, including us, are none other than that same absolute reality. There is only one reality. That's the fundamental truth. But all of us are unaware of that fundamental truth. That's what we call as a Maya. And because we are unaware of that truth, we imagine ourselves to be separate from the rest of the world. So we get this subject-object differentiation. Aham idam. That's how we look at it. And if you see, our entire experience, our daily experience is based on I, the subject, interacting with this world, everything else in this world, right? So therefore, there is a experiencer, experienced, and the process of experiencing. So this is what our reality looks like, right? And it's not just that we have a sense of separateness. Now we have this I, the subject, and with that we build it up further. So we have a identity. We call that ahankaram, and everything about our world is orientation towards that, right? It is my children, my husband, my family, my work. It's all about the me, and it is the me story within which we live. But if you take a step back, the realized people will know that there is nothing called me. That foundation itself is incorrect. And then we built because of the sense of separateness itself is incorrect, right? That is a illusion. And it feels apparently real for us, but it is not real. That's why Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Satyam is something that's always true. Mithya is something that's seemingly true or apparently real. And that apparent reality, we have built an entire life out of it. So that's what the avidya means, and it's an effect of the Maya. And therefore, we have built a completely full story around a foundation that is not true. That's what the avidya means. And you can see here, it says Dvīpanagarī. Dvīpam means island. So this island represents the sense of separateness that we have as a result of Maya, right? So when somebody is on island, that means they are cut off. And therefore, because of this lack of knowledge, we are assuming ourselves to be separate, and we do not recognize our interconnectedness with one another or our oneness with that ultimate reality. So the Dvipa, the island, represents the sense of separateness. Nagari. Nagari means city. A city is a fully functioning thing within which people live. And we all live within this city called me story, right? So we have assumed ourselves to be in a certain way, and then we have all these values, and that's where if something comes and challenges our perception of ourselves, then we'll feel angry. Or if somebody else has the things that we need, then we'll be jealous, etc., right? So this me is the basis of our actions, our desires, our doubts. Everything stems from that. And so the Nagari is the city within which we live. And why did that Dvipanagari happen? It is because of the Anta-timira. Anta is the inner and Timira is the darkness. Actually, Timira in Sanskrit means partial blindness. So not being able to see clearly. So it is the island city of inner darkness. It is the inner darkness that led to this. And just like an island is surrounded by water, our perception of ourselves is surrounded by that inner confusion or darkness. And there is also things that you can see here, amazing imagery that is used here. Mihira is the sun. And there are so many words in Sanskrit to represent sun, but the usage of Mihira here is so beautiful. Mihira can be split as Mich and Ira. Mich means fog. Ira means to drive away. So the dust from Devi's feet drives away that fog. So when you talk about fog, the fog is actually covering what is existing, right? And when the fog lifts, then you can see clearly. So like that, the sun is driving away that inner darkness so we can see clearly. And you can also see Mihira-dvīpa. So the sun and the island. So think about that imagery. So whenever we see the sun near the ocean or near the horizon, have you observed that the sun will always look big? That will happen to the moon also. But no matter where the sun is in the sky, it's always in the same size. The sun doesn't change in size. But what makes it look bigger? It's actually a trick that our brain is playing on us. And it is not exactly proven as to why that happens. But one of the theory is that our brain compares it against the other objects and also knows that this sun is farther away, and therefore it assumes, oh, this is farther away and looking about the same size as other things, so this must be really bigger, and therefore it makes its size big. But you can see how nicely the Mihira Dvipa shows the error in perception. It is the apparently real. For us, it looks like the sun is really big, right? But it is not so. So that shows that error in perception so beautifully. Also, when we look at the sun and the island, you can see when the sun rises near the ocean, it'll look as if the sun is coming out of the ocean, right? And this is where the Mihira also, it's driving away the fog. So what was there is already there. It's just that we couldn't see clearly. So similarly, this knowledge is also within us. And both knowledge and darkness are within us. When the darkness goes away, then we'll be able to see clearly. So if you look at the island, the land that is in the island is always attached to the ocean floor. If the water level rises, then the land will submerge. If the water level recedes, then the land will be available. So similarly, when our avidya goes down, then we'll be able to see clearly. And the last thing is the Dvīpanagarī, the island, and Nagaram we said is a city, and which is nothing but a landmass. So land. So island to land. When can you go from island to land? When you drop the I, the water of the island will recede, and therefore there will be land. So that's the first line. Let's take a look at the second line here. jaḍānāṃ chaitanya-stabaka-makaranda-srutijharī. So jaḍānāṃ means those who are spiritually inactive. That means they are not aware of their own spirituality. Chaitanyam means pure consciousness. Stabaka means a bunch of flowers. Makarandam means the nectar or the honey from the flowers. Shruti means flowing. Jari means a river, a stream. So jaḍānāṃ chaitanya-stabaka-makaranda-srutijharī means for the spiritually inert, the dust from Devi's feet is the flowing stream of nectar from the flowers of consciousness. Let's understand understand this a little bit better, right? So who is spiritually inert? Someone who has no awareness of their own spirituality or growth. They are not actively seeking or engaging in spiritual development. And someone who's completely ignorant, totally ignorant, spiritually ignorant. So if you take the previous example, right? Because there was partial light, we mistook the belt to be a snake. And obviously a whole bunch of reaction happened after that. But let's for a minute imagine there was actually a snake. And let's say that snake was in some corner. You entered the tent and you didn't see the snake. And went and slept, got up in the morning, minded our business and went away. At some point in the night, that snake slithered away. Now, we didn't know any better. And there was actually a snake. But did we get all those reactions, the worry, the anxiety, the fear? None of that happened, right? So sometimes ignorance is bliss. And these are people who are spiritually ignorant. They're not even aware that there are other levels of consciousness within which you can live or you can improve yourself spiritually, and they're not aware of it. So those are all the called as jaḍānāṃ. Jada is an inanimate thing. So if you think about a stone, rain or shine, it doesn't know to go protect itself or anything like that. It'll just be there. So like that, jadam is something inanimate. So in this context, it means someone who's not spiritually active or who's spiritually ignorant. Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam means pure consciousness. This is something without any limitations. It's very hard to define consciousness. You can think of it as awareness or intelligence. But whatever we think of, it is the height of awareness. It is the height of intelligence. And there is a slight difference between knowledge and consciousness. Knowing that an elephant has a trunk, 2 big ears and 4 legs is knowledge. But when you see that elephant, when you see an animal with a trunk and 2 ears and 4 legs, knowing that to be an elephant is consciousness or awareness. So being able to recognize that is awareness or intelligence. So that's why it's closest to consciousness, is closest to awareness and intelligence, but it is the height of it and absolute purity. So if you look at Upanishads, Aitreya Upanishad says Prajnanam Brahma. So it is the definition of absolute reality. So Prajnanam is also pure consciousness. Brahma means the absolute reality. So the absolute reality is pure consciousness. So that is the all pervading, conscious, intelligent principle. It is the principle that gives rise to everything in this universe, from the physical objects to thoughts, emotions, everything. It is the essence of everything in this universe, that divine spark that makes life and experience possible. So that's what chaitanyam means. And in order for chaitanyam to be there, we always have to have chetana. Chaitanyam comes from the word called chetana. Chetana means knowledge of a higher consciousness. So that's what will lead to chaitanyam. And if you look at bhakti, in the bhakti margam, we consider this chaitanyam as the love that's blossoming within the heart of the devotee for the divine. In Lalitha Sahasranamam, we have seen Chaitanya Kusuma Priya. So this Chaitanyam is considered to be a flower. It's a bunch of 8 flowers. So those are non-violence, self-control, compassion towards everything, forgiveness, knowledge, austerity or penance, and meditation or intense focus, and truth. Those are the 8 flowers. So that leads to stabaka, which is the bunch of flowers. Why is consciousness equated to flowers? So consciousness, just like a flower, goes through a process of gradual development. So you can see a flower will be a tight bud, then it will become a bud, and then it will slowly blossom to reveal so much beauty. Like that, this chaitanyam is the individual's consciousness slowly developing and gradually opening to the realization that the individual is the same as the Brahma. The Atman and Brahma are one and the same. So that's why consciousness is equated to a flower. Makaranda is the honey, which is the essence of the flowers. So you can see that it is the essence, and we said the ultimate consciousness or absolute reality is the inner essence of everything in this universe. Just because there is nectar and honey, the bees will come, and from there the pollen will happen, and then more plants will come. So that makes life possible. So it is the essence. Shruti is a flowing river. Shrutijharī means flowing river. So consciousness is also ever changing, right? So our awareness and perception are constantly changing. And also you can see when a river flows, there is life that flourishes around it. So that also shows how it is a life-giving or nourishing for the individual. And just like a river, the river will always run towards the sea. Like that, the individual's consciousness will run towards that ultimate reality. The next line is daridrāṇāṃ chintāmaṇiguṇanikā. So daridrāṇāṃ means one who is spiritually poor. Chintamani is a wish-fulfilling gemstone. Gunanika means a garland or a necklace, if you will. So daridrāṇāṃ chintāmaṇiguṇanikā means for the spiritually poor, it is the necklace of wish-fulfilling gemstones. So who is spiritually poor? Generally, if you take in the material word, who is poor? Somebody has a need, but they don't have the means to meet that need. That means they have something unmet. That's who is materially poor. A spiritually poor person could be someone who's materially rich. They could be very successful, they have lots of things, but they have a vacuum, an inner emptiness in them, right? And why is that inner emptiness happening? When we are more focused on material possessions or even things like success, fame, etc., then it always results in a certain inner emptiness, because there is a sense of meaninglessness or inability to experience that peace and joy that can happen. So that person is a spiritually poor person. And anytime somebody is poor, what wish fulfilling gemstone, what does it do? The chintamani, it will grant any desire that we have. And that is the nature of Lalitha also, where whatever we ask, she will provide. And it is not one chintamani, it's a necklace of chintamani. One chintamani itself will solve all our needs and grant any desire. And now it will remove any distress. And here, this chintāmaṇiguṇanikā is the ultimate solution to any desire, worry, or problem that we have, right? So she is the, for the impoverished, she is the necklace of chintamani. And we have seen in Lalitha Sahasranamam, vanchitartha pradayini, whatever you desire, she gives. So it is also similar to that. But is that what is really meant here? Are they saying that the wealth is those gemstones? Actually, if you see this gunanika, can also be split as gunanika. Gunani means all the virtues, good characteristics. Ka means wealth. So, for the spiritually poor, she is a chintamani who gives them what wealth? The wealth of great virtues. So, what it is saying is that true wealth really lies in our good virtues, kindness, compassion, integrity, wisdom. These are actually the inner treasures, and this is what will be more sustainable, and these are far more valuable than anything money can buy. So, true prosperity is not just about material riches, but it is the cultivation of the virtues that enrich the soul. So, for someone who's spiritually poor, feeling a sense of emptiness, no matter how successful they are in material life, they're feeling this emptiness, then she bestows them with the inner qualities, great virtues that can lead to long-lasting happiness. The next line here is janmajaladhau nimagnānāṃ daṃṣṭrā muraripu-varāhasya bhavati. Janma means life. Jala means water. So janmajaladhau means in the ocean of life. That means the cycle of birth and death. So we've all heard samsara sagaram. That janmajaladhau also means the repeated cycles of birth and death. Nimagnānāṃ means who is immersed or submerged. Daṃṣṭrā means tusk. Muraripu. Mura is the demon Mura, and ripu means enemy. So, enemy of the demon Mura. Who's the enemy of demon Mura? Is Krishna. Krishna is an avatar of Vishnu. Varahasya. So, Varaha means boar. Muraripu-varāhasya means it is the Varaha avatar of Vishnu. Bhavati means becomes. So, janmajaladhau nimagnānāṃ daṃṣṭrā muraripu-varāhasya bhavati means for those who are immersed in the cycle of birth and death, she is like the tusk of the Varaha avatar. So if you look at the Varaha avatar, earth was sinking in the ocean and Vishnu assumed the form of Varaha and then he uplifted that earth. And therefore, like that, the dust from Devi's feet also uplifts those people who are immersed in the samsara cycle. So what does being immersed in samsara cycle mean? Actually, if you see, that means these are people who are undergoing some suffering. All of us know in this repeated cycle of birth and death is happening because of karma, right? If we do good things, we'll get good consequences. If we do bad actions, then we have to face the results of it. But whether we do good or bad, we will get the results or consequences of it no matter what. And so, unless and until the papam and punyam equals 0, both together, they're separate heaps, but both have to be 0, the person will keep being born again and again. Even if he had 0 papam and only punyam, in order to enjoy the benefits of that punyam, the person will take birth again. So, it is impossible to cut the cycle of samsara. That's why in Bhajagovindam, Acharya says, right? Iha samsare bahu dustare kripaya pare pahi murare. Everybody is like the swimmers in an ocean. They're somehow trying to swim, stay afloat and get out of there. But it is very hard because these cycles of birth and death keep happening and we keep acquiring papam and punyam and therefore it keeps to be a vicious cycle. And for all of those, with lot of compassion, the dust of Devi's feet will liberate them from that particular cycle. And that's just like the Varaha uplifted the earth, she pulls us up. But also, you can see here, it says muraripu-varāhasya bhavati. So, the demon, the enemy of demon Mura. So, in Varaha avatar, it's not just that Varaha uplifted the earth, Varaha also destroyed the demon Hiranyaksha, who was responsible for immersing that or submerging the earth. And what is responsible for us submerging in this ocean of birth and death? It is all our karma. So, the only way we can get out of this is if the papam and punyam is destroyed forever. And that's what not just uplifts us, but also ensures that the karma is completely erased, and therefore the individual can go to moksha or liberation. So that's what this is implying. And Mura actually is the uh, demon who was Narakasura's general. And if you look at it, when Krishna went to fight, Mura created so many obstacles. First, there was a layer of mountain. Then he built another layer with a bunch of weapons. Then he used air, fire, and water to create all this. So he had multiple obstacles, and Krishna had to fight all of that in order to get to Mura. And therefore, Mura also represents all the obstacles that come in our way, right? And in Sanskrit, Mura also means encompassing or surrounding. And you can see how that connects to the first one. In the initial one, we said we are in an island because of our separateness. And what are we surrounded by? That inner confusion. And here you can see muraripu. So, in the dust from Devi's feet also destroys our inner confusion, what is encompassing or surrounding us, and liberates us. That's one way to look at it. That we've seen the meaning of each line in this verse 3. Now, when you look at them in totality, it is talking about 4 levels of people. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about 4 types of people who worship him. This is similar in that way. So, if you look at the last level or the lowest level, which is the nimagnānāṃ, janmajaladhau nimagnānāṃ, those people who are immersed in the cycle of birth and death. So, these are people who are materially suffering. Because the moment you say samsara, that is associated with karma, which means the suffering. Therefore, these are people who are materially suffering. Daridrāṇāṃ are people who may be materially rich but spiritually poor. That means they have all the riches, but they are experiencing some discontent. They are not able to enjoy or feel that peace and happiness. So that's the next level of people. Then jaḍānāṃ, who are spiritually ignorant. For these people, everything is great. They have the riches as well as the contentment, but they don't have, that's why they are not aware of their inner spirituality. There is no suffering that makes them want to look for something else. So there is nothing lacking for them. They are spiritually ignorant. Then the topmost level is avidya, where these people, everything is going well for them and they're also spiritually active, but they are not able to comprehend the true nature of things. So there are 4 levels of individuals and where you can be in your consciousness, that's highlighted here. Another thing, when you look at it in totality, it also talks about the path to liberation. So the path to liberation starts with the mihira, the sun. Always light means wisdom. So it is the light of wisdom guiding the individual towards enlightenment. So that is the first step. And then the second step is the chaitanya, which is like the makaranda, so the consciousness blooming. So slowly this individual becoming awakening to the deeper spiritual potential. Then the next step there is the chintāmaṇiguṇanikā. So this gunanika means repeatedly studying something, repeatedly studying the qualities or virtues. So any spiritual journey is a deeply inward journey. So we have to look within ourselves, understand what's driving us, why it is driving us, maybe all the preconceptions we have or the perceptions, and let go of all of that, and that's when transformation happens. So the gunanika is the ability for the individual to inspect and transcend all their current limitations, and that's when it becomes transformation. And when the person is fully transformed, then they are supposed to be liberated. Liberation, enlightenment are all not easy things to achieve. The spiritual path is actually very difficult, and there will be lots of obstacles. And our obstacles in the spiritual path are usually our desires and doubts that will come in the way. So the last line signifies that the divine grace will help that individual overcome those obstacles. That's what Mura represents, and lead them towards liberation. Let's look at a story related to Varaha, and let's look at the Varaha avatar. So once the sons of Brahma wanted to visit Vaikuntham. They had never been there, so they wanted to go visit. And the sons of Brahma were the sages, Sanaka sages, 4 of them. So they went to Vaikuntham. And Vaikuntham has like 7 layers before you can go meet Vishnu. And so the Sanaka brothers went there. And in the first layer, they saw all these beautiful birds, amazing trees. Everything looked so, beautiful flowers. Everything looked great. Then they went to the next layer and they saw devotees of Vishnu wearing vanamala and going about it. Like that, layer after layer, they are looking at it. They also saw Lakshmi's palace, everything. So now they've gone to the last one where Vishnu is. So they are ready to go inside there. And in Vaikuntham, exactly where Vishnu is there, outside his door, there were 2 doorkeepers, Jaya and Vijaya. Jaya and Vijaya are very attached to Vishnu. So they are very, very devoted to Vishnu, and they are also very protective of Vishnu. They will do whatever Vishnu says, they will do exactly. So on that particular day, Vishnu was really tired. And this is the time where he had fought a long battle with Madhu and Kaitaba, and it was like a really long one. And then he wanted to take rest. So he told Jaya and Vijaya, please don't allow anybody inside. I want to sleep. So Jaya and Vijaya were standing outside the door, and that's when the Sanaka brothers are coming. And the Sanaka brothers are just in awe of everything that they saw. And this is their first time in Vaikuntham, so they are just elated. And they are just almost breezing through everything, and in a trance, they are just walking inside. And Jaya and Vijaya told them, stop, don't go inside. But these brothers are just walking without listening. And the thing with these Sanaka brothers is they are so well versed in Vedas, and there is nobody who knows all the 3 Vedas better than them. There are 3, Atharva Veda came later. So there is nobody who knows better than them. And they're Brahma's sons, right? So obviously they're very well versed. And they look like 5-year-old boys. So they look really young. So Jaya and Vijaya did not know any better, and they thought this was a bunch of unruly children not listening and just walking into Vaikuntham. So they handled them as if they would handle unruly children, and they were a little bit curt. But these are great sages, and they got very upset with the way these gods were talking to them. And so immediately they cursed Jaya and Vijaya, and they said, because you are in Vaikuntham and you are in close proximity to Vishnu, you seem to think too much of yourself. You don't know how to behave with sages. So now I curse you to go be born in the earth. Now Jaya and Vijaya are really shocked, and being in Vaikuntham is the blessing in their life, and they cannot be away from Vishnu even for a minute, and they cannot imagine a life where they are now in earth. Now with all this commotion, Vishnu, who wanted to sleep, no sleep, came and said, what's going on here? And then Jaya and Vijaya explained what had happened, and they also said that the Sanaka brothers cursed. So then Vishnu apologized to Sanaka brothers and said, I'm very sorry if my gods had spoken to you disrespectfully. I apologize on their behalf. Please forgive them. Don't curse them. Can you please retract the curse? Sanaka brothers are really angry. They do not want to take the curse back. But the person who is asking them to take the curse back is Vishnu. So they don't know what to do. And they are saying, we don't want to take the curse back. But because you're asking, we'll allow you to modify the curse as you see fit. So now Vishnu was thinking about what to do. And we all know Vishnu is all powerful. If he wants, he can always retract the curse. But Vishnu will not do that, because these are people who are well versed in Vedas. And when a person who has learnt Vedas says something, their words will come true. Therefore, Vishnu will not interfere with it. So then Vishnu also felt very sorry for Jaya and Vijaya and said, okay, let's modify the curse. He said, I'll give you two options. One is you be born for 100 births in earth, you will be my greatest devotees, and then after the 100 births, you can come back to Vaikuntham. Second choice is you can be born, you can take 3 births. Each birth, you will be my worst enemy to the extent that I will have to come and deal with you and destroy you and kill you. But after 3 births, you can come back to Vaikuntham. Choice is yours, you decide what you want to do. So, without a second thought, they immediately said, no, 3 births. It's okay if we are your enemy, but as long as we can come back to you quickly, then that's what we would prefer. So, then it was decided that Jaya and Vijaya will take 3 births in the earth, and then through that, they will be able to come back to Vaikuntham. Now, on the earth, there is Sage Kashyapa, and Sage Kashyapa married several daughters of Daksha. And he married Aditi, and Aditi is the mother of Indra. And he also married Diti, who is the sister of Aditi. And there are several Danu, etc. Diti did not have any children at that time, and she was very jealous of Aditi because she was the mother of Indra, and Indra was so powerful. He had all the great things, and everybody was in awe of his valor, etc. So Aditi was always treated very well as the mother of Indra, and Diti actually was very jealous of that. And so she went to Sage Kashyapa and she said, I also want to have children. So Sage Kashyapa said, oh, totally fine, you can have children. Then she said, I want children who can be better than Indra, who can win over Indra. Sage Kashyapa heard that, and then there is nothing wrong in a mother wanting, her children to be better than everybody else. So he said, okay, that's fine. And then she said, oh, if I can have children who are better than Indra, I want them now. And then Sage Kashyapa said, Diti, this time is not right. It is the evening hour, and this time is set apart for praying to Shiva. This is not a good time to have a baby, to conceive a baby. So you wait for some time. After that, you will definitely have children who are better than Indra. But Diti now was drunk with this idea that she's going to have children who are better than Indra. That means she can be better than her sister Aditi. And therefore, she was not willing to listen to Sage Kashyapa and insisted that she needs to conceive a baby immediately. So Sage Kashyapa did not have much choice, so therefore he complied. And after that, Diti conceived, and once she conceived, she was a bit worried that something will happen to the baby because it was conceived at the wrong hour, right? It was Shiva's hour. So she was worried that Shiva was going to come and kill her baby in the womb itself. So she went to Sage Kashyapa and she said, because this baby was conceived at the wrong time, will Shiva come and do something to this fetus? At that time, Sage Kashyapa said, no, Shiva will not do anything to your baby, but I warned you not to have a baby at that hour. That was not an auspicious hour. Because of that, you will have children who are very powerful, but they will not be good people. In fact, they will be so bad that Vishnu will have to come and deal with them, and they'll be killed by Vishnu. Hearing this, Diti was very upset, and she was like, oh, I should have listened to him when he told me. Now my children cannot live long. What can I do? And seeing Diti feel so bad and repent for her actions, Sage Kashyapa felt very bad, and he said, look, what's happened has happened. We cannot change that. But one of your grandsons will be the best devotee of Vishnu, so he will be known for that. Now you carry on with life. What's done is done. Don't think too much about it. Obviously, Diti could not let that go like this, and therefore Diti did not deliver those babies and kept them in her womb for 100 years. And these babies are growing inside her womb, and her thing is, as long as I don't release them out, then they will be safe. But as the babies are growing in her womb, the energy in her is increasing. And over a period of 100 years, it's become so much so that it's actually taking away the energy of the sun, and everything in the universe is lacking energy because that energy is concentrated in her stomach. So now Brahma looks at it, and then Brahma reaches out to sage Kashyapa and says, you have to ask your wife to deliver. So then sage Kashyapa tells Diti to deliver, and therefore she delivers. And she delivers twins. So they are Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So when Hiranyaksha was born, he was a great devotee of Brahma. And therefore he went and prayed to Brahma, and he asked for certain immunity from a certain set of people, animals, etc. So he made a list of things that cannot kill him, right? So Brahma granted all of that. So Hiranyaksha now is feeling very strong, and he's also invincible because Brahma gave him this boon. And with that, what was Hiranyaksha's goal? Same goal as his mother Diti. Diti wanted children who can win over Indra. So as soon as he gets this boon, his first target is to go win over Indra, fight, challenge him in a battle, and win over. Now Indra is already aware that this Hiranyaksha has immunity from certain things and Devas cannot kill him. So Indra did not even attempt to fight with him. Indra ran away from Swargaloka. So when Hiranyaksha went to Swargaloka, the Swargaloka was available for him, but Indra ran away, so also all the Devas ran away. Where did they go? They went to the earth. And each one went inside some deep cave inside a mountain in the earth, and they all hid themselves there. So Hiranyaksha is looking everywhere. He saw on the Swargaloka, it's all deserted. Then he comes to the earth, he's looking all over the place and he can't find the Devas. He got really upset that he couldn't find, and he has to fight so that he can make his mother proud. So he got so upset and he took the earth and threw it inside the ocean, and the earth was sinking. Now Bhuma Devi is crying out for help because she's sinking deep into the ocean. And at that time, Brahma saw this and Brahma got very worried. And therefore, Brahma starts to meditate towards Vishnu, asking for Vishnu's protection. At that time, a piglet jumps out of Brahma's nose. And that piglet slowly starts to grow in size. And now it looks like a man with a boar head, and when Hiranyaksha made a list, he forgot to include the boar. So Vishnu took that particular avatara, and then Brahma asked for his protection. Vishnu said, "Don't worry, I will save the earth." And with his tusk, he uplifted the earth. In the meantime, Hiranyaksha was spoiling for a fight. He wanted to go fight with somebody. So he thought, let me go find this. Varuna is there, right? The god of ocean. So he thought, let me go fight with Varuna. So he went there and he challenged Varuna for a fight. Varuna also knew that he cannot kill Hiranyaksha. So Varuna said, don't be, too sure of yourself. You're acting as if nobody can do anything to you. Right now, the earth you threw inside the ocean. Now Vishnu is protecting the earth and saving the earth. So you don't think that there is nobody to challenge you. So then Hiranyaksha thought, oh, who's this Vishnu who can challenge me? At that time, Narada came and told him where Vishnu is. And therefore, between Varuna and Narada, they turned Hiranyaksha towards Vishnu. So Vishnu was very focused on getting this earth and putting it back in the orbit. And Hiranyaksha was challenging Vishnu. Initially, he didn't pay attention to it, but Hiranyaksha wouldn't stop and he was continuing to challenge Vishnu. And at that point, Vishnu fought with Hiranyaksha and killed him. So this is the story of Varaha Avatara. And from the story, we can learn that anytime we ask for help, it doesn't matter how deep in trouble we are, no matter how deep in trouble we are, the moment we call out for help, God, with all the compassion, the infinite compassion, will come to give help and save us. That's what the Varaha Avatara shows us. That's all for today. Thank you.